All right, guys. So the next question comes to us from Instagram, asking, does location make a difference in your, I guess, success rate if you're in a dominant location versus kind of a more, I guess, a non-rural area or in the middle of bumfuck nowhere? And why does my car say warning low fuel? I don't know. These are all questions to be answered. But the first one that people asked regarding uh, being in an area of success or not, yeah, there are some areas that are going to help you become more successful, but it all depends on what you want to do, right? Like, I mean, if you want to become a farmer, like, I'm not joking, like, I'm serious. If you want to invent something around farming or be around kind of that atmosphere, then it's easiest to say you're going to live somewhere with just a lot of farms. So living in the middle of LA is probably not the best idea, right? Because you're going to constantly have to travel to places to meet farmers, and there's not a lot of farmers in LA. But you have to think about it this way. Like, entrepreneurship and business is kind of not necessarily looking at it from the lens that, oh, well, I need to be somewhere to make me successful, because then what you're doing is you're passing the blame on your environment. So you're saying that your environment deciphers if you're going to be more or less successful. Versus you have to think about it in the other lens that's like, regardless of where I live or how I live, I will find a solution or a way to be successful within the environment I'm in. Because that is the powerful thing that enables you to kind of keep going and to continuously keep going and growing by finding many, many new solutions. So I wrote in third circle theory around circumstance, right? Circumstance being that we never allow circumstance to control us. And living in the first circle is where people find that circumstance, for the most part, uh, determines their life. So if they live somewhere, they only confined to the jobs in that place. If something they don't like happens in their environment, then they just go with it and they abide to all the rules that society has. They are given kind of guidelines to how they can or can't succeed, and they live within these guidelines. So all of this put together is ultimately how not to be, right? The whole goal is to be above and beyond your circumstance and to be able to be successful regardless of where you are, what happens to you, that you're born rich, born poor. You just want to be successful regardless of how or where you are. Now, one of the main things that's really really important to understand is, when I wrote third circle theory, it was about helping people get out of circumstance and get past the idea that society set the guidelines for your success, and rather understand that everything in your life is in your own control. And if you change everything to yourself, and putting the blame back on yourself, you tend to find a way. So what do I really mean by that? Well, it's quite simple. Like, if you start focusing your efforts on yourself, rather than focusing your efforts on moving and changing the different portions of your environment, then you become more successful over time. People keep asking us, of course, like the most generic and stupid question we get is, how do I get started? I don't know what to do. Well, the last one comes from a 15-year-old in high school.